This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a double feature. It's two top 16s for two events that happened during the UK Game Expo this past weekend, which is this huge expo in the UK that has a lot of Bandai events that I'm still trying to go through and get all the results for, but we've got both of these ones, so it's the regionals as well as the Ultimate Cup that happened. So both of them are BT12, and real quick before we get started, I do want to shout out Elixir, who gave me kind of like the link to a lot of these deck lists. They also made an article going over the entire weekend too for Digimon, so make sure to check that out. That's linked on both the pages as well as onto the description. He also did an interview with the first place from the regionals, so the red hybrid player there too, and highly recommend that. And also just big shouts to Organized Play events too. Make sure to check them out, especially if you are in Europe, and for just helping me get these, or just making these deck lists pretty available for me to go over and go from there. So anyways, that's that, and let's go over the regionals first, and then the Ultimate Cup will be later, so that'll be time-stamped in the video too. But we do see, this is like the only, few if only BT12 regionals that we actually cover on this channel, because a lot of the rest of this month, or at least BT12 with the new restriction, right, with Beelzy getting the hit with Impmon to 1, as well as Bloomlord hitting Blasto to 1 too, but so it's really interesting, and we see that there's no Beelzy X into this top 16, which is pretty crazy. And also, I'll say, like, this looks pretty good for a top 16 chart, right? There's a lot of variety in here. We do see, obviously, a lot of Hunters, but Hunters did not win the event. We did have Red Hybrid win that with only a couple, so, like, Hunters and Red Hybrid taking up half of the top 16 there. This was also a 226-player event with 7 rounds there, too. But, yeah, really, really interesting breakdown. So 5 Hunters, 3 Red Hybrids, 2 Machinedramons, 2 Black WarGrey X, 1 Security Control, 1 Bloomlord, 1 WarGrey, and a Dorbick as well. So those are kind of the idea there. And again, I think the restrictions for this makes the meta a lot better. And it's a shame that we only get like a handful, if not very many, events for just the regular BT12 too. So anyways, we're going to go over these lists by the top placing one for each archetype, starting off with our first place list. So this is Saf with their Red Hybrid. And I think like Red Hybrid is pretty generic for what it's looking like nowadays. There's a couple decision points, but generically you play somewhere between like 11 and 12 rookies here. You play 4 of the new WarGreymon and 2 of the older one. And then since this is also not Ultimate Cup, we do play the Bokos there too, and also the Omni, so that helps you some help there as well. And then just like the new chain, I think the new Agunimon is just, or not, the new level 5 here is just not great. It's not, people have been trying it out. It's just not worth the risk for it. So there, and then also just kind of Gravity Crush to help you get to your endpoint. So obviously Omni Blitz can help you win the game. It is kind of hard for this to actually get into your hand because you do have a lot of searching, and you will be sending it to the bottom of your deck for a lot of the games, but it can help you get that extra point of damage if you need it sometimes too. So this is Saf's list. Congratulations for that. Next up, we have TJ with their second place Security Control, and Security Control hasn't really been in the meta, and something like this is, this is really multicolored too, so we won't be seeing a lot of it in Ultimate Cup, especially since Chaos Segregation is at 1 copy in that format too, and Death X is at 0 copies. So, but the deck can be still pretty obnoxious for what it is. Burn damage is possible in this meta pretty easily with Beelzy X, but that's not as popular. Something like Red Hybrid, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets the W on this too, because you do have ways to get around, prevent options from activating insecurity, which is great. And just kind of, I don't know. Security Control is okay at this point. It's not very popular. It hasn't really been popular the last couple of months either. So that's been, I like that too. It's kind of a drag to play against. I think a lot of people are happy about that, but I still think it is strong. Obviously, it did go 601 for this event, and it's something that if you're not really good to see, and if you're not really expecting to see it too, you can get some wins. So congratulations to TJ with their finish there. Next up, we have Joe with their Hunters build. And I think Hunters now that BWGX is gone, is just kind of like a stronger archetype right now too, especially the superior mode. Superior mode is such a good card, and I've been playing Ultimate Cup format, and man, I've been missing how good this card is in a lot of ways. Being able to use it to just get like the best removal in the game right now, still very easy to go there. It's also very aggressive, being able to get like 2 hits in 1 turn sometimes. And we also have like the Quartzmon, which is still, a very big bully. Normally we see it in Bloomlord right now, but it's still very viable to go up into in Hunters and just kind of the whole thing. So we do have like the one of Yellow Tamer 2, which is a nice little tech there. But in general, I think this deck is very good. I really like this deck too, and I wish I could play it in Ultimate Cup, but we can't. So. But I think in BT12, I think it's one of the, if not best, decks in the format now that BWGX is maybe a little bit slower, or at least people are not playing it as often. So there's Joe's finish there. Congratulations. And then next up we have Usman with their Bloomlord, and Bloomlord has been kind of creeping back into BT12. And the beginning of the format, we haven't been seeing it as much, but I think people have been kind of back on it a little bit. And I think, again, with BWGX being a little bit slower too, it does help out this deck too. The Quartzmon is very good in a lot of ways. Some decks do have a lot of ways to out it, but it usually does at least like buy you a turn and can help you get some advantage. And now that Bloom, Hydra, and Quartz all have effects that gain memory on Devolution or Digivolving, you do get to get that extra memory back with Hidden Potential, which is still in the deck. And they're also running like a lot of like the start of turn Palmons and Vegemons, which is kind of interesting to go up your chain. So they are also just cards you can play off your, since they're 3 cost or 3k DP or less for their vegetation, there's that. And then just using a 1 Blast and 1 Argo, and then the Agitar and Cherrymon. So pretty standard list, I would say, but I think Bloom is in a good spot. I think it's definitely something that people have to kind of develop to play again too, but it's been doing really well in this, and also the Ultimate Cup format, which we'll see in a bit. So that's Usman's list. Congratulations there. Next up, we have 6th place. So this is Diego's WarGrey, right? This one's WarGrey. We also do have like the black WarGrey, which we'll talk about in a second. But both these decks obviously are very similar. The bottom end is moderately the same for a lot of the time. The new Agumon being red-black and having a good inheritable is pretty good. Plus 2k DP off the promo is so good. And Agu X, just to be able to help you find some more pieces and help you just get a larger stack, has just always been very, very good for this deck. We are also running the X antibody package, at least on the lower end. So we do have like the Greymon X and the Greymon and the other Greymon. So like, I don't know, like it's really interesting to see this too, because normally when I see people with the X antibody package, they normally have like Black WarGrey X or like a WarGrey X, but this one doesn't have that either. It just has like WarGrey and then Black War, and then also no like level 7 Omni. So it's really interesting to see the X antibody in there in that sense. You obviously do get like some protection off the Greymon X, but that's really it, right? Greymon X, and then like you can attack and go up into the Metal Gray, but like that's not really a lot, which is really interesting. So I'm surprised that's we're running 3 X antibodies for that too, but it is moderately searchable with the Agumon and the Cool Boy and just kind of everything else. So, and then we do have the Black WarGrey, which I do like this for the Tamer Destruction. Obviously, we're running some Hades Force as well. And this looks like more of a lean kind of tempo-based version of the deck, and you're just trying to get a lot of damage off the WarGrey too. So anyways, that is the list for Diego. And then also we have our 14th place list. We're just skipping up here for real quick just to talk about this. So you'll see the bottom end is pretty much the same. The only difference is with the instead of this Curie Attack +1, we're using the Greymon from BT12 to be able to play our tie tamers. So generically this one, if we can do it, which we don't have a lot of ties in there too, but then like it looks like this is more of a control aspect. So we're running like the BT8 Metal Gray, which is still good for disruption, the BT11 Metal Gray X for the additional destructions, as well as being able to get that burn damage. And a couple of the raids targets here, we're playing this one, we're playing one of the WarGrey from BT12 too. Just a whole lot of level 6s for you to be able to mix and match and do your thing. So obviously the this WarGrey can't digivolve can't be digivolved on top of with the Black WarGrey X or Guilemon. So only the Black WarGreymon can do that. So that's something you have to kind of consider there. But, this can just win you the game sometimes by giving the raid effect and attacking twice with piercing. So I think a 1-of is kind of warranted for this too. And obviously everything else. So you got your Tamers, you got your Hades Force, and in general, just a solid deck. So congratulations to, this is Gudgey's version there. So congratulations. Next up we have Kstgaming who's playing Machinedramon. And we've been seeing a lot of Machinedramon kind of get popularity in the fact of Ultimate Cup. It is still good in this meta. I will say that I think that Hunters does get like a really good matchup against it, because you just have like removal for this deck, and like it's very, very hard for this deck to be single stack without a tamer out, because you really want to play your analog man. So it's just tough for this matchup to have kind of like an auto lose against, not an auto lose, but just an easy out for one of the more popular decks in the format. So that's my only issue with that. So I'm going to be interested to see if Machinedramon's able to continue trucking on, if Hunters are continuing to be important and just in the meta. But obviously this is a moderately black deck. I think the only card that wouldn't be able to be run in the Ultimate Cup format is the WarGreymon, the first secret rare there. So, but anyways, I think this deck is strong. They're also running the Ragna Lord, which I get why it's doing. It seems like such a win more card, and they're also running like 4 Chaosmon. That's normally I see like 3, so this is a lot. This is a really chunky high build, so you do have to be careful about just potentially bricking with this build too. But very interesting on this one. Again, Ragna just seems like it's a little bit extra for something that just won't have a lot. Like, it's really, really hard to get into this, since you'll have to have like 2 stacks out for it. But I understand like why it's tempting, but it's still very interesting on that one. But anyways, that is Kstgaming's build there. Congratulations for 7th place. And to finish off the regionals, we do have Derek with Dorbick, and this is the Gammamon as well from the Star deck. So in case that, I'm not sure why this one's not loading for that one, but we do see Dorbick a lot, and the big issue, the big boon for this deck for regular format compared to the Ultimate Cup format is Cordramon and Machinedramon. Both of these cards are really important on being able to help you get your pieces, and but also get your being able to attack twice with Dorbickmon usually means that you win the game, since you do have a lot of security attack +1 off the Greymon, off the Master Tyrannomon. That just helps you a whole lot for that kind of stuff. And we're also running a hero, so we're deciding not to run the tie, which can also give another security attack +1 if you want, and then just a bunch of option cards. So a lot of draw essentially from these, and helps you there. And Lightning Joust too, which can give an additional security attack +1 if you want to. And then also the Omni X antibody, which I don't think I've ever seen in a Dorbickmon list. You can just Digivolve it on top of Dorbickmon and get some removal, and you can snipe a card from their security if you need to, and then maybe it's a little bit hard to get out, but also costs 7 in this deck too, which is costing a lot. So I like to. It's interesting. It's a very interesting card. So I'm curious to see how good this card was for that deck. But it is a solid card in a lot of other, I would say, like traditionally X antibody lists, but it seems to have worked here too. So that's Derek's list, and congratulations to his finish there. All right, we are now at the Ultimate Cup. So Ultimate Cup was 6 rounds. It was 80 players, and we do have this top 16 we see here today, with Ulforce winning this event, which wasn't even in the top 16 on the other event. So I do like that back and forth, and we do have just a lot of different archetypes in this top 16. I think 8 different ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 Machinedramons, 3 Bloomlords, 2 Ulforce, 2 Beelzemon X, 1 Black WarGreymon X, 1 WarGreymon, 1 Red Hybrid, 1 Blue Hybrid, and a Yellow Hybrid as well. So obviously hybrid players are doing a little bit better in this Ultimate Cup format too, just generically, because they tend to be more monocolored as well. But really interesting to see this. And Machinedramon is a little bit more popular, and again, I think it's mostly because Restradramon is just not in this meta. That means that you can be a little bit better with this and superior mode, because superior mode's gone, but also just the fact that the meta is a little bit slower, and then just kind of a lot of other decks. So we're just going to jump on in with these lists as well. So we're going to start off with our first place list. So this is Gollum's first place list with the Ulforce. And we've been seeing generically, like in regular BT12, there's kind of a decision if you played Leomon or not. And I think every Ultimate Cup I've gone over in the last, at least for this meta, I think it has the Leomon package in it. So I think that one's just been understood as better. They're also running the Dracomon with the Babydomon. So this gives a plus 1k, which I think card draw is less important in this deck, and the DP boosts are just better in general. So the egg just gives you a pretty good, consistent 1k boost, as well as Dracomon, as well, just because they're on the unsuspend, which is just so easy in this deck. And then Lanamon's really good. The Great Maelstrom has been helpful, and then the Tamers line up here. So obviously, I think this deck is pretty consistent for what we're doing. It's been very strong, I think, in a lot of Ultimate Cups I've been seeing, and which is really cool, because in regular PT12 it's just been kind of a little bit slow and clunky. So Anyways, this is Gollum's list. Congratulations on their first place there. And then next up, we have our third place. This is Jowgenetsu with their Black WarGreymon. So the Black WarGreymon and also the WarGreymon, we're going to look at them similar, the same. But yeah, they also are running the Dorbick and the Ragna package, which I think the Ragna makes a little bit more sense in this deck. And kind of like the combo for this is that if you have one of these out, you can play Dorbick. And even if you don't have enough memory to keep it your turn, we have Fernandes over here, which does have an end of turn DNA devolution, which means you can go into the Ragna, and then it has Rush, which is fantastic. Sorry, it has Blitz, which lets you attack in, and also trash a security based on how many cards are underneath the stack. So since you have two chunky stacks put them together, you can trash security and attack for game. It's a very good game ender in a lot of ways, and it's just a 15k that's hanging out in your security. So I think that's pretty helpful for you there. And this is more of it's weird for the choice of some of these. It's weird to see people play like the Metal Gray X antibody that gets the security attack +1, but then also play like the Black WarGreymon X and the package here. So. And obviously this is Ultimate Cut format, so it's mono red. We can't be running any X antibodies, Cool Boys, or any of the black tie cards. But also deciding to play Marcus as our tamer of choice just to essentially get the extra memory, I would assume. So that can help you get some plays and extend them. And I think that's very strong. So anyways, this is the build here. Congratulations to Jowgenetsu for their finish. And then this one, I kind of just want to go over both just because this one is more focused on just the WarGreymon, and generically I tend to differentiate those between in the regular BT12 format, but I think there's less difference between them here, but I'll still kind of go over them. So big differences, we're playing like the Agumon here as well, and which is red yellow, so we're fine since we have Koromon as our egg. Same combo with Fernandes, Dorbick, and Ragna as well, and then just kind of more, I'd say like more aggressive too, especially since we're playing the BT12 WarGreymon, at least at more copies of it, and we're not even playing the Black WarGreymon. We're only playing the Black WarGreymon. We're not playing the Black WarGreymon X. So obviously Raid can be very helpful for attacking over stuff that and getting the piercing, since we're playing the Metal Greymon from BT12 as well. And yeah, that's this one here. So congratulations to both of our Greymon players, and this is Matthew's list for this one. All right, next up we have Machinedramon again. So this is Bosun's list here, and again we're in a really good spot with this deck, I think, in the Ultimate Cup format. There's not a lot of ways to get rid of the Chaos X if you are able to establish it. Just even regular Chaosmon is really rough for that as well. And then you are running Mono Black, which means there's a little bit less variety for level 5s for you, but you're in a good spot. And that's kind of, I don't really have a lot more to say about this deck. Honestly, it's been very good. I think people have understood and kind of respected, and it's been a pretty big staple for this BT12 Ultimate Cup format. So this was Lordofhalifax, and congratulations for their finish there. And then next up we have ThatDude's Bloomlord. And Bloomlord, I think, was really good in BT11. There's no changes you have to make. It's almost always mono green. So for this build, you have to make a little bit of a difference, and the changes are just the fact that Blossomon is only at 1 now. Then also you can only run 1 Hydramon too. So choosing a Lotusmon as our additional level 6, which I like Lotusmon a lot too, just because it is a fairy, which means that you can find it off of your Palmon on the top 4 search, which is great. And also I think Quartzmon is just a little bit better in this format too for the searchability. So also nice little tech of the Izzy and Mimi, which can help you go up your chain if you need to. And in general, yeah, this deck, I don't know, this deck is usually pretty good, especially since it doesn't usually have a lot of defense if your opponent's aggressive very early. So since the meta is a little bit slower, you can set up and get some good value from that there. Also, it's something that like loses to Death X a lot of the time. So since you're not really worried about a board clear from that as much, this deck I think is in a better spot. So there's ThatDude's list. And then next up we have our BWGX X. So this is Burrito's list here. And this is, we're pretty much, we're almost 20 minutes into this video. And this is the first time I'm talking about BWGX X, at least a deck list, which is quite rare from a departure from like the last month of pretty much talking about it in the beginning 5 minutes of every video. But obviously, we do have to do a little bit of a different deck building, since we do have Impmon at 1 copy now. And generically, what I've been seeing a lot of people do is just they've been trying to replace it with the BT2 one here, which does have like Ondulation Trash top 3, which is quite nice. And then also like this one looks like it's going up the chain more often in the fact that it's having 9 level 4s, and then also Balmon X, and then 4 whole copies. Like, there's actually, now that I look at, there's a whole lot of level 6s in this deck. There are 4, 6, 7. There are 9 level 6s in this deck, which is a little crazy. And then also 2 copies of the blast mode. Obviously, the EX2 one's pretty good in the fact that you are able to put it to the top of your deck with the Ayamako, and then you can discard it from the top of your deck and then go from there and discard it to get like, I don't know, usually I see people kind of loop the on deletion one, since this does kind of make up for the fact for the EX2 one. So you just get the on deletion, which means you get to trash 3 again, and that's pretty strong. So that helps you out. Only 2 copies of Rivals Barrage 2, which is pretty low for what we're doing, but it's probably because we're playing Calling for Darkness, which means that also it's a way to pop it to be able to play the Hitmon, or pop the Hitmon to get the on deletion, which I think is strong. And it just looks like a lot of cycle and trying to make up for the loss of speed from the Impmon as well. So that is their list. Congratulations for their top 16 there. The next up, we have our last 2. They're both hybrids. We have Alex with their blue hybrid. And most of the blue hybrid lists I've been seeing lately that have been doing well has been a kind of a departure from the original like source control and stunning, and more of kind of like using like Mirage Galgamon and like Beowulf just to get a lot of value. And also Koji gets a lot of value too from just having it underneath it. The inheritable is pretty great, and then with the combination of like Lanamon being able to tuck some of your Strabimons or even Galgamons underneath it means you get some really good inheritables on some of your hybrid cards too. So I think that's really strong. It helps out the deck a lot, and it's more, I'd say it's more tempo than kind of like the value based or like control, like somewhat stun like control style it used to have, where I don't know, blue hybrid's always been like its own kind of unique thing in the sense of stunning and source control, but I've been liking this new flavor of it. It looks really fun, and I've been seeing it top a couple events too. So this is Alex's list. Congratulations for there. And to wrap it on up, our last one of this video, we have Jaykob with their yellow hybrid, and I've been a huge fan of yellow hybrid. And it's been a real shame that it fell off because Jet Sofa got put to 1, which is such a rough way for it to lose steam in my mind. But I do think it does have some good matchups in this meta too. It does have some good removal. I think Lonky and Wyvern's Breath are some good ways to potentially remove Machinedramon, as long as they don't have the EX1 inheritable that the DP can't be reduced. But it's very good. Venusmon is also very good for stunning, and it's a really good level 6 for this deck in general. We do have like the Rise-Gray and Rise-Gray X package to kind of make up for the fact that we don't have Jet Sophie around anymore, which is, I think, moderately good for what it is. And since a lot of our tamers are level 4, it's a little bit harder for at least Machinedramon to remove them. Hades Force can do that, but I don't think a lot of people are running Hades Force either. I don't think they were running Hades Force, right? Yeah, there no Hades Force, yeah. So they're safer in this meta too from Tamer Destruction, and you can get a lot of value. And I do like Rapidmon too. Rapidmon still is just like a really good board clear in a lot of ways if your opponent's not expecting it, and can get a lot of value. So that is the list here, and that is my entire breakdown. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. It's a longer one because it's a double feature, but again, I do want to say shout outs to Elixir for helping me find these lists, and make sure to check out their article. Thanks again to Organized Play Events for this, and make sure to check out the Limitless pages just because it has all the info there too. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.